Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much, much more. And football season is back. I'm absolutely buzzing. The football season's back. If you're lower leagues, League One, League Two, Scottish League as well, is back today. But that means we are a step closer to Liverpool being back. That's the main thing. Liverpool play obviously this week, 2 games against Bilbao on, I think it's Monday, I want to say. And then we are back next Sunday against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. And then we are opening the Premier League season in 2 weeks' time against Bournemouth on the Friday night. How is everyone doing this afternoon? How is everyone in the chat as well? Wow, the chat is already popping off as it is. I mean, DB in the chat as well. Adam, Prakash, good afternoon for all you guys in the chat. Make sure you get your comments in on Isak, on Sesko, on Nunez. There's lots to talk about the last 48 hours, what's happened. So DB says there, hit the likes on the way in, people. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Every little click helps. I'm so glad you put every little click helps there, because we might have been copyrighted to a certain big supermarket. If we go, yeah, do that's our new brand name now. That's our new slogan now, DB. Every little click helps. Isak on his way back to the UK, according to David Honestly. Yep, Adam, we're going to speak about Isak and his movements right now. It's getting boring now, this Isak stuff. Just hope it gets sorted soon, said Adam. Yeah, it is going on quite a while, but it is what it is. This is the transfer window. This is what being a football fan is all about in the transfer window. It depends what you want to believe and what you don't believe. Mixed reports yesterday, producer. We did it live on air. Cam's just joining us now as well. Live on air, we brought the Ben Jacobs report yesterday, where it said that Liverpool aren't going back with a second bid. But then there were early reports from Dave O'Cott, from Romano as well, saying that Liverpool are preparing a second bid. So yesterday was full of mixed reports. Newcastle were certainly and have been very, very stubborn on Alexander Isak's future. And rightly so, to a certain extent, rightly so. At the end of the day, he's their main guy. And if they don't get a replacement in, then why would they sell him? However, that replacement could be coming sometime soon, because Benjamin Sesko is a major target for Newcastle. And according to reports today, they have finally made a formal bid for the Leipzig striker, €75 million euros plus €5 million on add-ons, which is £65.5 million plus £4.3 million in add-ons. Patricio, is this the big moment now with Newcastle really focused in on Sesko? Is this the time where Liverpool say, yeah, actually, we've got a door opening right now?
Yeah, I think that's what we're waiting for. I think we put the initial bid in just to get the initial interest, to put it out there. Obviously, we knew that was going to be rejected. That's always going to be the plan, especially as Newcastle are looking at 2 strikers. They could bring in 2 strikers. So without even bringing in one, it was always going to be troublesome for us to be able to get it over the line. I think Liverpool knew what they were doing. They were going to play their hand, and Newcastle were going to shut it down straight away. That'll show them that obviously the interest is there. It's still ongoing. And now the fact that we've put a bid on them just shows that they're going to have to ramp up their efforts in getting a striker. I think it's good news for us if Sesko does go to Newcastle. Then I think the dominoes will fall, and we'll go and get Isak, and Nunez is potentially going to Al Hilal. So it all seems to be falling into place.
Adam says here, if you were Sesko, taking the fact that we dislike Man United, who would you go to United or Newcastle? I mean, it's funny, really. If obviously taking our hate for Man United, because obviously I won't go to Man United for nothing. I'd rather play in the National League on low wage than go to Man United. Footballers look at things differently. Look, if you want to go to a club that's in a good position right now in Champions League, then Newcastle's you want to go to. But if you want to go to a bigger club than Man United, who could come back up to the top at some point and be part of that, maybe that progression, then Man United. At the end of the day, it's the same where Liverpool have been in situations where we've been out of the Champions League. We've been down and low down. We've still attracted players that we need to get sometimes. But it does help the fact that we are in the position that we are in. Cam, do you think Sesko is going to go to Newcastle? Or do you think that big club attraction from Man United could be the reason why it turns them down?
I think ultimately it comes down to money for the player. Like they're professionals. He's a very young player. He's 23 years old, I think. So he will always have the opportunity to make a step up to one of the legacy clubs, if we want to call them that. But I think he'd need his head examined if he went to Man United in the current state that they're at. That's my personal point of view. Ultimately, Man United are still a bigger club, arguably one of the top 3-4 biggest clubs in the world. But they're 2-3 years away from cleaning up the mess that's there at the moment. And footballer's career is very short. So go to Newcastle, bang your goals in, and then in 2-3 years' time, you get your big move. Go to someone even bigger, Real Madrid, if you want. But at the moment, like history tells us, in the last 10 years, that nearly every player that's gone to United, it's ruined their career. So roll that dice if you so wish.
It's like a risk in it going to Man United right now. But I think they've made the right decisions in the last, I want to say, half a year in terms of progressing in the right way. They've finally got a football structure in place now. They're not having bankers run the football side of things. They've got a proper sporting director of football. I think they've got us managers there as well that has standards and doesn't allow players to run the players, which they needed probably. And I don't want to ever see them come back anytime soon. But if I'm honest, we've been there. Liverpool been there. Big clubs don't stay down that long. Not too long, anyway, to the point where they go out. I think Man United will be back at some point. Just hope it's not anytime soon. But it is a very difficult situation for Sesko. Does he go to Newcastle, which right now are looking all right, but then they've got their own problems. We're seeing this summer they've got their own problems. They're trying to keep on to the best striker. They're not bringing players in apart from Elanga. They're getting turned down left, right, and centre. Sesko's looking at everything here. There's risks on both sides. What would you do, Patricia? Take the fact that we hit Man United away.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to take it away, but you know what I'm saying?
If I was going to be sort of in Sesko's position and I had to pick between United and Newcastle, I think I'm looking likely to go to Newcastle. The only reason I'm saying that, and not because of what take Liverpool fan out of me, it's literally just based if I was the footballer, if I was Sesko, I would think about the fact that they have got Champions League football. They are looking to progress. Obviously, they haven't been so lucky this window being turned down left, right, and center, like you said. But I think they're showing promise there. I think they're just not fortunate this window. I don't know what's happened with them. They're just not meeting the mark. Maybe it's how they're delivering it to the players that they wanted to bring in. Their project just doesn't seem good enough or whatever. But I think they have a better stance than being United. The fact that United are still struggling and the players they have brought in just haven't hit the mark. And I think you're looking at a good sort of project going forward with Newcastle. So that's sort of where I'd be aiming to, bias aside.
One person we have to thank here, though, Cam, if this Sesko thing does get done to Newcastle, which hopefully it does, obviously, not only is it helping us with getting Isak into Liverpool, it's also ruining Man United's transfer plans, which is it just adding the cherry on top. Jurgen Klopp, Cam, Jurgen Klopp. This is the guy that can push Sesko to Newcastle, helping us.
Yeah, I'm not sure how involved Klopp is in all that sort of stuff. The player, I mean, he'll put a good word in, but to be honest with you, Klopp doesn't have any affinity for Newcastle or Man United. So I think, listen, it'll come down to the player. Ultimately, he's coming to a new league. You could go to Man United, which has been a bit of a sinking ship or a graveyard for the last 10 years, or you can go to Newcastle, which, okay, their window has been, some would classify it as calamitous, but they are a good team. They have a great midfield. They've got 2 good fullbacks. They've got a good forward line. If you take Isak out, then you could make a counter argument to that. But ultimately, it's down to the player, to be honest with you. I'm guessing, do you choose the brand or do you choose the project? And I think Newcastle's project is more attractive. As a professional, I would go with the Newcastle project as it is right now. Yes, if there were similar project standards, if they're at similar levels, then it's Man United. It's no-brainer. Man United. But I just think United are so far away at the moment. And Newcastle are on the precipice of I think, cementing a nor a Champions League position every year. I think they've got a great team, very underrated team.
Yeah, can I just add on to that? I would say that another reason to go to Newcastle is if you have a look at it as a whole over the last few seasons, United have brought in strikers that just haven't performed. They brought in Højlund, they brought in Xerxes, and Xerxes was meant to be a big wonder, wasn't he? And obviously didn't perform too well. And I guess that's what you've got with the players around you, can only do so much. Whereas I think Newcastle have what they've done with Isak, bringing him from Sociedad. Yeah, they've proven to mold strikers, at least one in this case.
Yeah.
And obviously they got the best out of they could with Wilson and his injury. So I think that's what would sway me as well. Sort of like Cam said, it is the project. It is something to look forward to. The fact that you have got Eddie Howe as a manager. Obviously, for United fans, they would have wanted Amorim to thrive a bit better. But with a team like that, I don't know how much you can thrive with, to be honest.
Will Amorim be there in 12 months?
I think he will.
I'll tell you this now.
Any progression this season is okay, though, isn't it? At the end of the day, they finished 17th. Can it get really worse for them? I hope it does. It'd be funny if it did, but can it be?
No,
so it's going to be progression this year, surely.
If they start the Premier League and in the first 10 games they're like sat in like 11th, 12th, I think that's a real problem for them.
What would you say is a realistic target then the season, Cam, for Man United?
I think with the investment they've made, obviously I have to look at the investments made around, but it's Man United at the end of the day. They should be pushing at the bare minimum, and this is low expectations here, European spot. Like the bare minimum, I would argue, right? They've got no excuses, in my opinion. Their squad isn't a 15th place squad either. That position was because of Amorim. In my opinion, when Ten Hag was sacked, I think I read a stat somewhere that there were 4 points off Champions League. Like
I think at one point I thought Amorim gave up on the league at one point.
I mean, it was a sinking ship. So at the end of the day, do you try to put something in the hole? Or do you just let it sink and then just focus somewhere else? I don't think he had a choice, to be honest with you. I just think if he has a similar start to what to last season's finish, he's going to be in big trouble. And then you've got he plays a system which is like 3-4-3, which I think most managers in Europe don't play. So then a new manager is going to come in and more than likely go to 4-3-3. Right, change the whole. I don't know. Just in relation to Sesko, I just think there's less pressure going to Newcastle. Yes, it's a big club, but the eyes won't be on you in the same way you'd be on Man United. And two, I think like you're playing in a system which is going to be like I don't think it's going to be changed. It's 4-3-3. You've got time to do it. You've got a really good progressive manager in Eddie Howe. I don't know. Yeah, I hope they get them for obvious reasons. Sesko Newcastle, but like you've got to be brain dead, I think, to go Man United. That's just my viewpoint.
I think the reason why we're talking about Man United, the reason why we're talking about Sesko, the reason why we're talking about Newcastle is one thing and one thing only, is because of Alexander Isak and the knock-on effect it has and the dominant effect it potentially has with Isak. If Newcastle do buy Sesko, there's more likely, I think, they open the door to Isak leaving. It certainly helps massively. I don't think that, I know people say, Newcastle might say, playing 4-4-2. You're not playing 4-4-2 this season. Get that out of your heads. The reason why you're bringing Sesko in is because Isak is probably going to leave and he's wanting to. Yeah. Let's be honest here, said Badger. Isak saga is done. We will say at Newcastle, Edwards and Hughes are clowns wasting our time. Joey says, as much as I want Isak at Liverpool, it's not happening maybe next year. So a few people giving up on the Isak thing. I'm not giving up on the Isak thing. I don't think we're fully away from it. I think we're just sort of biding our time right now. Wait and see if Newcastle go get a striker, number one. And number two is maybe wait and see what Isak decides as well. Is Isak going to push for a formal request, a transfer request? That's a situation that could happen potentially because he hasn't yet, as of yet, put a formal transfer request in. He has pushed other ways.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't think you put formal transfer requests anymore. What he's done is clearly a transfer request. Like
it
all
is without the transfer request in, yeah.
Yeah, but like what? I don't think the transfer request is going to make a particular difference because he's gone AWOL. He's refused to train. He's not picking up the phone call. He's now going back. I've obviously read the news. He is going back to Newcastle, but we got to see what the atmosphere is. I don't think the transfer request is going to make a particular difference. I think, personally, I think an agreement has already been agreed, verbally anyway. I personally think that we're just waiting for Newcastle to get their house in order with their players, and then we pull the trigger again.
I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done at all, and I don't think we would be done. You just remember, go back to Van Dijk. It happened with Van Dijk. We pulled out. We put a statement out saying we're not going to go for him now because obviously we did. I think we did that sort of illegally with the tapping up with Van Dijk. But everything with Isak right now, we've not really done anything wrong. We've spoken positive to the players' camp, just like any other club does. Newcastle are doing it right now with Vissa at Brentford. They've spoken to the club. Vissa's sort of kicked up a little bit of fuss at Brentford. But what was reported yesterday is that it was Isak's camp that's released all this interest. Liverpool tried to keep it in the background. It's mainly Isak's camp that's done this. That's not on us. We've tried to do it respectfully. We've tried doing it in the background. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, if Newcastle are happy, they're not happy with it. We can't do anything about it. We just all we can do.
You don't think Liverpool and Newcastle have provisionally agreed on a number in the background and said this is broadly what it's going to take?
No, I personally think I don't think there's any verbal agreement in terms of Isak and Liverpool either. That can't really be done until a bid's in. But I think Liverpool know for a fact personal terms ain't going to be a problem. And I think they must have had some sort of green light by Newcastle to put a bid in there. They must as fair as it might be.
Exactly. I think they've been communicating with each other. Edwards has a good relationship, as does Hughes, with Eddie Howe. The two clubs, regardless of what the fans are doing right now, have a good relationship. Like, they must be talking. Like, if I'm calling Newcastle up and saying, how much is it to get Isak? How can we get him out? Like, they must have said, listen, we need a strike. We need to replace Isak, our striker. And also, broadly speaking, the number is going to be north of 120. So I think, and like, I'm assuming Liverpool have said, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I think there's an acceptance, or I'm not saying there's a verbal sign, like a verbal contract in place, but I think that there's an agreement in place that this is going to get done, and everybody knows what the parameters of it is, i.e. Newcastle replacing their forward line, and roughly what the price is going to be. Otherwise, where did the 110 million come out of? Why not start just off at 80 million? Someone must have communicated a number.
Yeah, I think they know. I think what were early reports was with the number, the original number was 150 million. That was the original price that Newcastle apparently had put on him, because before 2 weeks ago it was not for sale. I think it was last week that early reports then started putting a number out of 150 million pounds. That could be what they asked for. We'll put a starting bid in, and people say no, it's rejected. Laughing at Liverpool for rejection. It's very rare starting bid of a player ever gets accepted anyway, and it's the actual ending fee for a player. It's trying to find that middle ground now between 110 million or 50 million what they've put on him.
Newcastle want as much, we want as least. We're going to meet somewhere in that middle. It's inevitable, I think.
I think we do that at some point, but I think now it's a waiting game. See if Newcastle gets Sesko, and then we go again for me. If Isak tells Newcastle again he wants out, then everything kicks in. Next week we'll confirm what happens. And what I think Newcastle need to be careful with now, Patricio, is the timing of things, because, like I said, this is why this Sesko news has come straight after the Isak bid, because I think they know once Liverpool have made that bid, they're being absolutely serious about getting this guy in the next few days, next week or so. Yeah, I think we want to see that deal done the next week, 2 weeks maximum.
Well, that's why yesterday
they've instantly gone for Sesko like day after. It's been a day after. It's been a day, hasn't it, since the bid? So they've instantly gone for him. There's 4 weeks left in the transfer window. 2 weeks until the season starts. 4 weeks left in the transfer window, and they've done nothing really about Elanga.
Yeah, I think that's what they're worried about. They're worried about not getting their man over the line. The fact that they've had so many fails this transfer window to try and get who they want as striker. I think it's coming to crunch time for them because they're realistically thinking: do we want Watkins? Do we want Sesko? What have we got to do to outbid United for Sesko and be there first? Sort of turn his head. I think it's come to a point where Isak has shown this entire window. Well, the majority of it is that he wants us and only wants Liverpool. I think someone put it in the chat as well, and you put it up on the screen. I think today matters a lot with how what Isak will say to how and how that conversation will go. I mean, that matters a lot. If he stands firm on his stance to want to leave Liverpool, I think they start to ramp up the interest, especially obviously they've had the official bid in for Sesko, but they will continue to push for that. It doesn't matter if they want two strikers or not. They have other options as well. I just think this is now Newcastle had to stand firm with their choice, didn't they? They had to
and rightly so, you'd want your club to do the same thing.
Yeah, and especially having a not for sale stance, they were going to say no to the first one. I think they've, like you said, they've definitely got a green light somewhere. Personal terms aren't an issue. It's just a case from Newcastle's point of view of what they get done now. So
yeah, and we have some breaking news as well. Funnily enough, Sesko and Alexander Isak breaking news, and it's actually from Sky Sports. Of all the people to break the news, and it is reliable because it is Keith Downey, who was very reliable as Northeast reporter, obviously for Sky Sports. He's very reliable, and Sky Sports not usually first on the scene on this. So this is what he's said now in recent minutes. So this is breaking news, guys. Alexander Isak will meet with Eddie Howe. Obviously, if Sesko comes in, that will allow Isak to go. Liverpool will come back in with an increased bid. All this nonsense that Liverpool have made their final bid, they have not made their final bid. That is from Sky Sports right now. Breaking news, guys. That nonsense we saw yesterday about not going in for a second bid is absolute tosh, according to Sky Sports' Keith Downey, who is a North East reporter. He has also said if Sesko comes in, Isak is on the way out. And this is exactly what we all thought was going to happen. And Rebert is in this afternoon. Good afternoon, Rebert. Nice to see you again. It's crazy how some people have already given up on this Isak deal. Did they seriously expect the first bid to be accepted? And have you given up on the Isak deal now? Now this breaking news has come out, and it's probably good timing again. In recent streams, I don't know if anyone's noticed this, anyone that's been watching us in recent streams, but we've been getting breaking news live on air, quite live on stream, which is very odd. But yeah, I think we'll see more things coming out now. Now he has actually said it. Let's have a look.
You see what Matthew put in the chat? Matthew put Ben Jacobs lied. And do you know what? That sort of brings up yesterday when he put out that we're not going to make a second bid, but then quickly backtracked to say, oh, it's only early in August. There's still a lot left to go. So he's having to cover his bases.
Also, guys, the other thing, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So they're talking about giving Isak a contract extension for a year with a release clause. So he's on what, 120 grand a week with some bonuses, right? Like they're talking about putting on 200 grand with some bonuses. And as I said, a rising tide lifts all boats. What are you going to do for 1 year? Give him that pay rise, and then what's going to happen with all the other players, like your Brunos? They're not going to want a pay rise as well. They have a very strict, budget around their salary. It makes no sense for them to keep Isak.
For a player that's pushed for a move as well.
Yeah, and you're going to raise just for a year. You're going to have to raise everybody's salary because everybody knows Isak is their best player. But similarly, the other players are going to want an increase because they're going to say, listen, my guy's on what? 200, 250. Lift me from 100 to 170, 180. This has a knock-on effect. It makes it's illogical to me that they would do that. This is, for me, it just feels like a game. And with respect to Newcastle, who I do banter their fans online, try to have a bit of a laugh. But he, as a player, has outgrown your structure. It just is what it is.
Right now, where they are, yeah, he's outgrown them.
And maybe in 10 years, they're going to have a crazy budget and be this exceptional club like Real Madrid, right? But they're not that today. So it's logical to me.
Juan is in the chat. He is from Las Vegas. So if anyone knows who Juan is, Juan's in quite regular, especially the morning shows, afternoon shows. So it would be 6-7 hours behind. So it must be 7 o'clock in the morning where Juan is. That's a guess. 7 o'clock in the morning, I want to say. Am I right, Juan? Let me know in the chat. He is from Las Vegas. He works in a hotel in Las Vegas. And he always watches us. This is how serious he is as a fan. Juan, he watches at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. When we have the morning shows, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas. Sky Sports have been the first on Sesko bid situation too, said Taylor. So it would be a good source to believe. Now, Sky Sports are very rarely first on anything at the moment. Normally, the people that say something after, they're a bit like us, really. We just outlay what everyone else's sources are. But yeah, Sky Sports have knocked it out of the park with that one there. Keith Dowett, obviously the first one to be there. On that, Isak turning up to training is to say goodbye, said Mark. Could be. It could be. Jacob said Liverpool are not planning another bid this time. Not we're walking away. What Jacobs did very, very carefully with his words. He said we're not planning a second bid. Then he tried covering his back afterwards. He sort of backtracked a bit of a moonwalking back to ensure that he had all bases covered. Be very careful. This is what I'm saying. Journalists in the summer, be very careful who you believe and who you tend not to believe. It's okay to believe one and not believe another, but some do it very carefully and very, very good with their words to ensure that they don't look wrong, even though they were wrong. I mean, Plettenberg, DB said here, Plettenberg squeezed a few minutes ago before Keith's been told. The thing is with Plettenberg, he's been called out a couple of times this summer already. I mean, Florian Wirtz himself called him out, didn't he? They will be bid if the situation changes, so very slight backtrack clarification to maybe save the face on yesterday's post. Just going to get through the chat. There's quite a lot of chat today. Make sure you do, if you are joining us today, make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new for all your latest Liverpool news and football content in general as well. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 1.5k. I told people that it's literal common sense. I even reminded people that throughout the saga, there's been one constant. We won't bid until Newcastle give the green light. I've said there might have been a slight green light. It might have been like the most fade green light you can ever imagine, but it's still a green light. That's the thing. Liverpool won't move until they have been given some sort of encouragement. Isak wants to be with the Egyptian king, not at Newcastle. With Anthony Gordon, basically. I think he's on about Anthony Gordon there. I'm sure he's blonde. 6:30 a.m. said Juan. Yeah, very early in the morning. Very early in the morning. I'm glad you've done the night shift then, mate. Let's get this deal done, said Jen. Please remember to like and subscribe, said DB as well. Let me get that up there, right there. So let's get through more of the comments as well, because you guys are coming thick and fast. Sometimes I'm trying not to leave any comments out as well if I can't. FSG Edwards and Hughes are playing a blinder with a 10 million bid Friday, saying no. LSE, okay, no problem. All the best then. See you later. Sweat over the weekend. We're doing other business. Yeah, bid the money and just run away. That's it. Enjoy. And I think, like I said, not the fact that Newcastle's going for Sesko is a big. I think it's a big moment anyway in this. It's the speed of them going for Sesko. It is literally a day after our bid for Isak. I think that speaks volumes, Cam, don't you?
Yeah, it does. But they've been in negotiation with him for a little while now, and it's maybe they've just upped the urgency slightly, or it might just be coincidental. As I said, I think they've already made their peace of Isak leaving. So I think, they're already talking to these attackers. You know, what was it? They got rejected for what? Ekitike. I'm sure there's other attackers I'm forgetting about here, right? They're already provisioning for him to go, because I think this was made clear to Newcastle previously, and I think they've accepted he's going to go. This is just musical chairs, a little bit of fun, theatre for everybody. So, Sesko timing is good for us, I guess.
It is very good.
What Sesko's in, and I think I'm not sure if that's a dependency or not, but whenever he's signed or another striker's signed, I think at that point they will have to let him go. And they will let him go, in my humble opinion.
So I'm just seeing another tweet out as well. So David Ornstein 55 minutes ago said, Isak coming back to UK, will resume training with Newcastle. That's going to be very interesting to see. I don't see anything there that he said there, but according to another Twitter page that has quoted David Ornstein saying Liverpool stance is that will not bid for Isak again as it stands. It's funny when they put as it stands at the end of that, so it does cover the back. Are they going to bid on him or not? That's the question. He's covered black or white here. Are they going to bid for him? Are they not
will
going to
bid for it. They
I
will.
think they will.
Sorry to interrupt. They will bid for him, but like, if I'm buying a house off somebody, if I walk down the street on my road and I'm like, I knock at the door, because sometimes like I've done this previously when I bought a house. I knock on the door and I really like your house. Would you consider selling it? And if he goes, no, I don't really want to, and I go, I'll offer $1 million for it or $500,000 for it or whatever, and then I'm down the road and his missus comes out and says, you know what, we're seriously thinking about it. I'll make an offer, and if he says no, then I'll be like, well, listen, you let me know when you're ready to sell.
Yeah. Come back.
Because there's no point in me keep on saying, unless I'm going to come up with a stupid number, the house is worth 500,000, and I come and I say here's 2 million, then maybe at that point, like, I could be proactive about it. But it's
Sleep
just ridiculous.
on it.
Yeah, exactly.
They slept on it. They slept on it in the bid Sesko next day. That's what they've done. Joyce and Ornstein is like listening to Edwards. They speak Edwards reports to them. Said, so which journalists do we believe? Believe who you want to believe. I think the best journalists out there. I'll give my opinion. I've been doing this sort of content for quite a while now. I did things for the LC Transfer Room. I wrote articles for LC Transfer Room. So I've reported on this for at least 4 or 5 years. This sort of stuff. So I quite know the best journalists out there, in my personal opinion. Joyce, obviously, the obvious one. Ornstein's pretty good as well. He's close to Liverpool. Ornstein will run PR now and then as well for Liverpool to make them look better. Got to be careful of every club does it. You'll see Newcastle journalists putting good PR out for Newcastle to make them look good in certain situations. But I think they're the good ones. Louis Steele's fantastic, very absolutely reliable journalist. I put a lot of faith into Louis Steele's. David Cook's been very good recently. I mean, he got the Verts one right where he said he's going to be number 7.
Do you think they all have the same?
Romano is good. Go on, mate.
Sorry, do you think they've all got the same sources and the conclusions are just different? Because if you're talking to 15 people, and they're all telling you broadly the same thing, a little bit here, a little bit there, then the journalists broadly interpret what the outcome is. I just think they're talking to the same sources, personally.
I think certain ones have different sources. They must do. Otherwise, it'd be pointless being there and being their own journalist. You might as well have one journalist doing all that.
Though, what's your sort of views on Sasha Tavolieri? Because he's just come out with a thing saying that new rounds of talks have been scheduled early next week to advance on an agreement with Newcastle United. As revealed, Isak only wants LFC, has made it clear. And that was literally a minute ago.
Yeah, I've just seen it now. That's what I'm saying. There's no way he has the same sources as Louis Steele, for example.
Yeah.
Because it's different news that they report.
No, but I reckon it's the same sources, but the conclusions are different.
All right, okay.
So, like, you're reading the same source material, and what you're taking from it is just slightly different. All of them are saying Isak wants Liverpool, right? I don't think that's a dispute, right? The only difference, I think, is with some of the journalists, they're saying that a deal has been pre-agreed. On verbal, the framework is in place. While others are saying, Liverpool will bid a second time when they come. So I generally think they're all sharing the same pool of sources.
I think what's interesting though, what I've seen a lot is sometimes journalists can actually guess something. If they think the wave's running to one certain answer, the man has a perfect one for it. This is why sometimes he gets things wrong. He'll put a "here we go" on someone, and 2 weeks later, it's not in time for him. The man has a perfect one. This is why he tweets out like every 2 hours. He wants to be first, and I'm not saying he's wrong. He's right most of the time. He's got very, very good sources. He's a well-known journalist. He'll have very good sources. But I think he tries tweeting to be first. He says, he'll be one that says here we go first, absolutely guaranteed. But if it's looking like that's going to be here we go, it's a bit like those Twitter pages you see, pop up and they'll come exclusive this and this. Oh, look at that. I told you I got it right. It's like trying to be that. But I think a lot of sometimes journalists do riding the wave early to be right first. So you got to be careful on that.
Whoever's got Isak's agent's ear is the best one, I think.
I don't know, because that agent does want it to all happen, doesn't he? So he's going to make Newcastle look bad.
Yeah, but I know, but he's feeding all the information, right? Allegedly. I'd say something.
He definitely, from what I've seen, yeah.
What I would say is people like Paul Joyce, James Pearce, they tend to be very factual and only report stuff that's actually happened in most cases. So it's like when something is confirmed or very far progressed. Well, I think the other journalists are more investigative in terms of their discovery work. That's just
you want to be the ones that tell you.
It's more investigative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Elliot West Ham said MM. So yeah, it's been quite quiet on Elliot. Someone mentioned it earlier. It's been quite quiet on Elliot. Bruno thinks Ben Jacobs. I don't think he's a liar. I just think maybe he heard something and he ran with it. And again, they try to put it out really quick. It's about being first. It is about being first. Unfortunately, in this sort of journalism world, they don't care about being right. It's about being first. As long as it gets the clicks, they can deal with that. Being right is nothing sometimes. You know, like I said, Romano's been he's here we go. Many players that have not been a here we go. It's not happened. But what did he get? He got the fan engagement he wanted. He got the views. He got the clicks, and he eventually got the money. And you got to be very careful what you believe, what you want to believe. You can make up your own opinions from either, look at either source. That's what I like to do. I like to look at this side and this side and make my own opinion from it. But no one is ever absolutely certain it's absolutely right. I say the closest one to be 100% every time is probably Paul Joyce. That's because he does it right at the end, but he can't move anywhere else. He waits till right at the end and says, yeah, it's happening. And then that's why everyone thinks, yeah, it's definitely happened now because Paul Joyce has tweeted it. So, yeah, it's believe who you want to believe in journalism world. But I don't think Liverpool are walking away from the Isak deal. There's absolutely no chance we make a bid for a player, £110 million, our number one target up front, to make a bid and then run away. That makes zero sense. It makes zero logical sense if you think about it.
I mean, if Newcastle don't come back and say, yeah, let's do it, then there won't be a second bid. It depends if you believe those journalists. As I said, my belief is that they already have a framework in place. And it's a simple case of let's get these two players in and then let's finalise. But that's just my viewpoint.
Plus, like you two kept saying, I think there has to be something there for Liverpool to put a bid in. There has to be something there without sort of talks between Isak and themselves. Obviously, like you said, Isak's agents, Isak's sort of side put the news out to the media first. It wasn't Liverpool. So I think that sort of comes into play as well. And Liverpool wouldn't want to look stupid and have egg on their face if they bid knowing that it was that they didn't even have a chance to get Isak. So I think that's when things are starting to formulate, and it will work out. Whether we do go for Isak or ultimately he changes his mind, we don't know. We don't know how things are going to work. He may ultimately have this talk with Eddie Howe, and it might change his mind. But I think that'll be quite difficult to integrate him back into the team, especially with how things have been going on the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So I think he's going to struggle there. Even if he does stay at Newcastle for another season, he's going to have to heavily backpedal with the fans, with everyone, realistically. So I think he's sort of forced his way out. And I've just seen the thing on X as well, saying how like Coutinho did it with us, where obviously it was rejected for Barcelona, wasn't going to Barcelona, comes back to us for training, and then lo and behold, where does he go next? So I think Newcastle fans and sort of Newcastle as a whole need to see this as an opportunity for them. Not as because we're taking the star player. They need to see, I think we said this on last stream that we're here. They said that they're building for the future. They can use that money and reinvest it elsewhere, even if they do go for Sesko and wherever other positions they want. So I'd see that as a positive.
One thing's for certain after this Isak saga, though, guys. One thing I'm absolutely certain is going to happen is Newcastle will hate watching us all season. That's an absolute certainty. Make sure you do smash those likes and subscribe to the channel if it really helps us grow. It really does, Jen. Thank you so much for putting that as well. Make sure you do, as Jen says there, hit those like buttons and subscribe to the channel if you want all your latest Liverpool news and football content in general as well. So we're going to move on to a certain Rodrigo, because in the middle of the night, reports from Diario AS, ESPN Brazil, all reporting that Rodrigo has agreed to move to Liverpool. That is the report that came out last night. He has accepted an informal offer from Liverpool. He now holds the keys to departure from Real Madrid. Arsenal don't want to pay his big salary. He has now to decide. Cam, if he is asking for that big salary that Arsenal that don't want to pay, I can't see us paying it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the number is, so I may have missed that. But we do have a wage structure. I know we've got, nobody's going to be earning more than Salah or Van Dijk at that club. He's a good player. I've never been like, I don't watch him enough to have a view on him either way. But like, I think we are a left forward down for the season. So and I know Ekitike can play there, but he's only played there like 3 times in his career. So we do need to solve that issue. Now, we have, what's his name? Rio, who could play there. But his minutes, I think, should be managed very carefully. He's only 16 years old. And we got Gakpo there, right? I'm quite worried that we don't have a natural dribbler who's like a senior player. But, there might be an opportunity there for Rio if we can't get somebody in. I would have personally loved Cava to, from PSG before he went there to have joined. But, yeah, if Edwards and I think we've talked about this offline. If Edwards and Hughes, using their data, think that he's the guy, then I'm all in for it. But I do think there's a salary constraint, right? What he reportedly wants, I don't think we'd go to personally.
I think that's the only thing that's really holding us back on Rodrigo is because of the salary. We don't give big salaries out instantly. We got to work for it. I mean, look how Salah and Van Dijk had to earn theirs, and that was last minute to change the minds on working on that as well. I mean, we could have easily lost Salah and Van Dijk if we didn't change his minds on changing.
I'd happily take. It's not my money, so I'd happily.
Oh yeah.
I just think there's a structure in place, and I don't think they'll break it for Rodrigo.
No,
as you said, Salah and Van Dijk had to earn their corn.
Yeah, there's also talks that we've also going for Fofana. Sorry, there's also talks that obviously we're looking at Malik Fofana as well. So I think, especially because we seem to have good dealings with Lyon at the moment, especially with Morton going over there. So it seems to be that Rodrigo isn't the only option. We're not too concerned for left wing, even though we have just brought in Ekitike, who, like you said, can play on the left but hasn't played there often. So I think, realistically, I hope that after Isak or even before Isak, we look to get Gahey done, because that's a centre back is more like what we need more of, to be honest.
Well, if we've got both Isak and Rodrigo, then that would be an unbelievable somehow. Also, we need a centre back as well, but we definitely need another forward regardless. Nunez, it looks like he could be on the way out now. Reports saying that Al Hilal are pushing for him now really hard. Nunez is still expected to leave Liverpool. According to reports, it's a situation to keep an eye on. So I think Nunez is certainly out the door. So Diaz is just already gone last week to Bayern Munich. So Rio Engamoa coming through is certainly exciting. I absolutely love him coming through. And if he is the backup to Gakpo, then it's one of them so be it sort of things. I think he's good enough to be a backup. It's just the age and it is development. We've got to be very, very careful at how quick we put Rio Engamoa into the team, and we've got to bed him in properly. Even if touch wood Gakpo doesn't get injured, then he becomes instant. I think he doesn't. I think we might put someone else onto left wing, like an Ekitike, for example, if Gakpo was to get injured. Because again, you've got to be very, very careful of Engamoa. 16 years old. He's going to turn 17 soon. That's why he's going to get a professional contract when he turns 17. You can't get one until you turn 17. But he is certainly exciting, because the way he runs at players, he's not scared of anyone, and I think he brings that into the Premier League. But it's more body development. I think we've got to be very careful. We've burnt out Owen. He got big injuries before. I've seen that before. I think right now Yamal at Barcelona is probably in a few years, maybe teetering on getting injured, because he is like the main man there. And I get it, he's unreal, but you've got to be very careful with players of that age because you can burn them out quite easily. But I'm happy with Ria Engamoy coming in. Rodrigo would be a good move because, as people saying here, outstanding signing said for LC. If we get Rodrigo, it's a good move. I think it would be a good move because of his versatility and the fact that he's at a world-class level already. He can play left, play right, and he can play up front, which covers many situations in games that Slot wants to do. And also, if Salah does go in 2 years' time, when his contract does end, or 3 years with the extension, apparently, is that he can easily slot onto that right wing quite comfortably. But yeah, Nunez, Cam, do you think it is inevitable that Nunez does go now?
I think the club wants him sold. It's just whether the price is sort of met. So I think it's inevitable he does go. I think he'll either go on loan or be with an option, or he'll be sold outright. I think for the good of everybody, and I was a big defender of Nunez for a long time. I just think that unfortunately it hasn't worked out for him at Liverpool. He was not key for us winning the title, but he had these moments last season, and I'm eternally grateful for what he's done. But I think for everybody involved, it'd probably be a good move, good thing that he moves. But it does leave us short, like big time. One of our strengths was having 6 forwards, first team forwards, and I know Chiesa had little minutes, but I think having 6 forwards in a 3-man forward line, I think that's key.
Ideal, yeah. I think Chiesa, again, the Chiesa situation is really strange. Obviously, it looks
he's not good enough.
Him. He's not, but I think he's a good option. As in, especially if but it's the fitness in it. It really is the fitness.
He's too weak.
The reliability is so important. It's so important. This is why I thought, why are we getting rid of Quansah and keeping Gomez when the unreliability is just not. It's not good.
The money, Quansah's money is good, and then you got a what's it called, a buyback clause in there as well. Gomez is 28, 29, so it'd be straight crash 20 million. He's got experience. He's a leadership. He might be very liked around the training ground, and he may not have had the buyers for him because of his injury record. So, but I think we need a centre back, we need a left forward, and we need a striker.
I'd say I think personally now, I think we'll get 2 of those.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we'll get 2 of those. I think we'll get, if Isak comes through the door, I think it'd be a centre back, and that's it then.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Adam said Isak, Rodrigo, Gehi, and we'll get Saka next season. Said Adam, Saka next season. Imagine that would be a turn up for the Bucks. Patricio, what's your final thoughts on Nunez transfer? What do you think the money would be for him to go? So we couldn't agree with Napoli. We put, was it £55 million on him? Napoli weren't going to pay that, and they've backed away completely now. Al Hilal, I presume they would pay that, but is that the place he's going to end up, do you think?
Yeah, I think he will. I think it's his time to go. He's had a few seasons with us at Liverpool. He just hasn't proven to what he could have been. I think he was very much a Klopp signing at the time, whereas I think we were looking at Isak a few years ago when he was at Sociedad. So it was just very much so what Klopp wanted for him. I think under different circumstances, I wish he would have thrived with us. It just hasn't happened. So I definitely see him going, especially with the way how he's been acting as well. I think, yes, there's only so much you could do, like if you're playing well against Stoke behind closed doors, whereas if you're proving it in the Premier League day in, day out, and obviously players have their off days, but he has been off for quite a while, and especially I feel like he should have gone in January. I think that was a good bid for him then. We're going to look to potentially go for around that sort of 60, 70 mil mark. I think we'll be very lucky to get that now. And I think Al Hilal will know that. They'll know how desperate we are to potentially get rid of him. I think I would like to see Chiesa do well for us and be sort of that backup, sort of Mr. Reliable, but it seems like he wants to go as well. So it will be quite difficult for us what's going to happen. I think if we do end up bringing Isak in, like someone put in the chat, I think Hugo was definitely a Darwin replacement rather than the number 9 we needed. Obviously, because Hugo is quite versatile, so it's just seeing how it goes. But honestly, I do wish Darwin all the best wherever he does go.
At the end of the day, it's just not worked. It's one of them times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work, and people, I know a lot of people out there might be giving him a chance. 3 chances is enough for me. It's 3 seasons enough. And we need 2 centre backs, said Adam. I think we need 2 centre backs personally, but I think we only get 1. So look, just to finish on was Tyler Morton. Obviously, he's going to join Leon. I think he'll thrive at Leon, if I'm honest. But Liverpool do have a 20% sell-on clause with Tyler Morton. So when he goes to Real Madrid in for £200 million in 3 years' time, we will get 20% of that is what?
Of how much did you say?
200 million.
200 million?
So 50 of it is what? 40 million, isn't it?
What percentage?
40 million. 20%. £40 million.
40 million.
When it goes to 200 million to Real Madrid in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But we'll get 20% of the release clause when Tyler Morton does go. So Mo replaced by Saka, perfect. It would be a perfect replacement, but yeah, it's not going to happen, is it? But yeah, I do think Tyler Morton will thrive in France. I think he'll do very, very good, really good at Lyon. I think he certainly needs that first team football, and I think he deserves that first team football at a decent club. And yeah, all the best to Tyler Morton for that move. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching today. Make sure you do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new for all your latest Liverpool news, transfer news, and much, much more Liverpool content coming up this season and football content as a whole. And all you guys have to do is just hit the like button and join us on at Talking Reds for everything that we can give you guys at home. But yes, join us again tonight at 7 o'clock for another episode of Red Zone. And we'll be back tomorrow then as well for a morning show, hopefully. And Stu will be back on Monday morning for another morning show. So make sure you subscribe to Talking Reds, hit the like button, and I'll speak to you all soon.